Hello, good morning, and welcome to Tea Time. It's so good to be back on another Saturday morning for what I hope will be an epic conversation. How is everybody doing? How are the weekends going? I'm just coming off of yet another trip, and this time Canada. And I really love to travel. I enjoy it quite a bit. Hi, York. Good morning. But I can honestly say that I think this. I don't think I didn't expect to be going to Toronto, right? And so this last trip in particular was it was a very good trip, but at the same time, because it wasn't kind of in my plans, I think I have an extra notch of feel tired that I'm navigating. Anyway, good morning. Welcome to Tea Time. I'm happy to be here. Welcome back. Welcome back. I am excited to talk about this topic because I think I have unlocked a whole other level in being able to find paths to create success and to kind of create the life that you want, whether it's in business or in love or in wealth. These are the three areas that we primarily focus on. Um, and of course, health and well being, lifestyle is a huge part of this. And so I can't wait to share just kind of how I usually come about this is just really finding through my own errors or misjudgments or through my own wonderful aha moments. I just find these really great lessons that I get to share with you all on a Saturday. So make sure you grab your tea, right? Or your coffee, whatever is your jam. This morning, I am having a lemon concoction. It's not my usual. I know you guys are used to me having like my actual lemon and my ginger and all of that. This is similar, but we are out of lemons. Like lemons are out of season. I'm back in Kingston on the island in Jamaica, and so lemons are out of season, right? So I have substituted the real lemons for this really nice one that I'm actually enjoying by Bigelow. It's I love lemon with vitamin C. Really like this, and I'm having that with the Bigelow peppermint, and then I'm also adding the Mountain Peak ginger tea and honey and a little tupsa lime. Anyway, you get it. It's a concoction, but I had to get my herbal tea vibes on this morning because of the week that I've had. I've literally just been having coffee like every single morning, which is not my usual vibe. I like to have a nice oat milk latte, but not every single morning. And being in Canada, doing this conference, doing this whole thing pre-conference, which was all about founders in tech, primarily, pitching their ideas and trying to raise funding. And all week long, I was drinking a lot of coffee. So this morning, my stomach is like, please give me something soothing. And so I'm having tea. So that was like 2 minutes, guys, of just telling you what I'm drinking. So you could go get your tea of choice or your coffee of choice. Okay. Mm, Still very, very hot. All right. So usually I would pull a card for our conversation. And since we were talking about, openness and using different types of tools to actually create success, or the hidden gems, like how to use hidden opportunities to create success. I wasn't sure what card I was going to pull. So when I opened the box this morning, and this is one of the older boxes, but when I opened the box this morning, this is the card that was sat at the top of the deck. And I've used this card on this same show before. On Tea Time, I've used this card, and it's perfect for this morning. So I'm not going to pick anything new. There's 52 cards in here. If you guys have your deck, you can shuffle and pick something. But this card of being open, being limitless is the intention. Sorry, I'm limitless. But it actually talks about the mind being a fertile playground. And it talks about being filled with the possibilities and new ideas and great thinking. But what I like about it is just, it's kind of like how the picture shows the mind is just wide open. And that's really the essence of this conversation today. It's about, you sitting in a place of openness and awareness, right? So that you can take advantage of opportunities that may come your way that you may not have any thoughts of, but it just drop in your lap. And I can tell you that I am the master. I have mastered the art of missing opportunities. I know you probably didn't think I was going to say that, but literally, I've mastered the art of missing opportunities. And I'll tell you how I was doing that. And this is what I'm saying, guys, that I've unlocked that I know you are going to benefit from. So you definitely want to stay tuned. Call your friend and tell them to come and watch. Oh my God, Stacey's figured out how to find and unlock hidden opportunities so that we can create more love, more success, more wealth, all the things. Okay. So about a month ago, like literally almost exactly a month ago, I went to the launch of a woman in tech founders startup. She's been doing this, building this platform for a few years now. I met her, I think 2018. Wonderful girl, Cherie, and she was actually going through the process of launching this platform, big launch, Hyundai showroom, lots and lots of people, celebrities, government ministers, and of course, a few girlfriends and and us regular people, right? But I was really excited for her because I know she's been working on this platform for a while, right? Which is really supposed to be like the Uber of rent-a-cars, and she's a Jamaican woman, that lives between Jamaica and the US, and she's just done amazing things over the time, but she's been really building this platform while she's done other work, right? So I go to this launch really to celebrate Cherie, and I run into one of my really my other good friends that I used to work with when I was president of the tech organization here in Jamaica. And I run into her, and she says the strange, just out of the blue, she's like, "Hi, Stacy." She's like, "You don't want to pitch at this tech conference for your business. You don't want to pitch for your business at this tech conference." Now, I was like, why is she asking me to pitch at this tech? She knows I'm not, maybe she doesn't know. I was like, but I don't really have anything to pitch. Like, I'm not funding my business that way. I'm not taking the founder route. I'm not going out and, trying to raise funds for the company. That's not something that I'm doing. And then I was like, and furthermore, I don't even know what I would pitch. Like, what would I pitch? Now, keep in mind, guys, this is me literally standing there, like she's telling me, "Come on, you must be able to find something, just come on and pitch." They want women in tech. They want tech founders to come and put forward their solutions to see if they can raise money. And I was like, yeah, but I don't really focus on that part of the business like that. I'm just working. I'm building my company. I'm standing there, people arguing fully for my limitations, fully arguing for my limitations. Anyway, I smiled, I hugged her. We took a lot of pictures and then went to the launch, and it was great fun. Now, I'm telling you this story because while I was actually saying to her, I'm not really doing that for my company, I could hear in the back of my head this voice that's saying, why not? And it's kind of like it's almost like you have this fly that's, you're kind of trying to brush it off. And I know that that happens to you guys sometimes too, where you'll hear just this little voice in the back of your head that kind of says, back of your mind that says, why not? And it may be just inviting you to be curious about something, an idea that maybe somebody else has. And I can tell you guys that I was fully arguing for my limitations. I said to her, "No, not interested. I don't think so. And I can't bother, whatever, whatever." So went to the launch, did the whole thing. And when we were at the end of the launch, I kind of got curious, because I remember the voice saying, why not? So I got a little curious, and I was like, well, why were you asking me, to pitch? And she's like, well, I was telling you that, this tech conference in Canada, Collision, that they want, female founders for tech startups. And she's like, and I know you and your company and you've been working at it for a while now, you should pitch. And I was like, Canada. And, I was like, okay, I'll think about it. But I don't really see myself pitching for anything and doing the founder route. Keep in mind, guys, that I sit on the side of the what they call our ecosystem, but the side of the fence that actually helps other founders to access funding. I judge pitches. I go and I help people. I give them feedback on their pitches about their different companies and what they need to tweak, and talk to them about their product strategy. And I sit on boards. I help other entrepreneurs do this kind of work. But when my friend was there saying to me, you should pitch for the, now, I've pitched for other people's things. I've pitched for like, but never for mine. So it just kind of never occurred to me that this was a path I could consider for myself. And guys, I know you're probably thinking I'm crazy, but honestly, I've talked through all different kinds of things, but I've never really sat down and thought about this for myself. And so in that moment, I was face to face with a new aha moment. I was face to face with how, one, I was so stuck in my system of building my business that I was not open to other ideas that may have been coming along. I don't know who else may have dropped an idea in my bucket and never pick it up, right? So that was the first kind of aha. And then two, I recognize that, there are other systems that I use in my life that could be bringing this to me. But because I'm so stuck in the way of thinking about things, I shut off the other possibilities that could be there. So what that means is I am no longer creating a limitless way of thinking. I'm really just like, well, I've got this, and I feel like I'm open and I'm curious, and I talk to you guys about that every week. So, I feel like, yes, I'm doing the things, but it just occurred to me that there is always more growth. There is always more opportunities. There are limitless possibilities. So you could be missing out on hidden gems, right? Hidden moments that are available to you. So, of course, I was like, I have to talk about this at tea time. I have to talk about this in tea time, because my people in my community could be out there also mastering the art of missing opportunities. So that's the first thing. Let's talk about where you may be missing opportunities, right? And I want to talk about it from the perspective of blind spots. Okay. So common blind spots can come about when you are stuck in a particular way of achieving your goals, going after your thing, right? Now, there are two common themes that you'll find most teachers talk about, right? There is the theme or the system of manifestation, right? Where this is more like you're visualizing, you're using your different types of meditation, energy, feel good. You're listening to all the teachers that talk about ease and effortlessness, and you're supposed to just sit down and then the thing going to come out of the sky. And, like, so you have your different methods of manifestation that is a system in and of itself. And that system has been proclaimed to work. You've seen the book called Secrets. You write the check to yourself. You have money on your ceiling, and you're just visualizing yourself as this person. You're channeling the energy, like all the different things. I use that system. That's a system that I'm familiar with. It's a system that I enjoy playing with and seeing kind of what happens, right? That's a system that I use. Then you have another system, right? That is really like, oh, yes, Absolutely, Jay, like vision boards. So vision boarding is a part of that manifestation world, right? Some people call it, my one of my girlfriends talked to me about magical thinking, where one of the popular content creators actually talked about magical thinking. So some people view it as magical thinking. So that's one of the systems. Then you have the system of SMART goals, right? And your goal setting system, where you're setting these very tangible things. You are able to see it, smell it, taste it. You can write it down. So you set your target, and then you put down your objectives. How you're going to know you're going to be successful, and then you have the steps that you're going to take. It's very strategic in its approach, and it's a very specific technique. You have to go back through every week, every month, every quarter, and reflect, and you check off the different things that you're supposed to be doing, right? This is more strategic, more SMART goals kind of focus, right? And I use that system as well, especially as a strategist, right? I have to be able to balance the magical thinking side of myself, and also being able to put down SMART goals, being clear about what I want and making sure that I'm documenting that. Hi, Tasty, morning, right? So you have these different systems. These are the two most popular systems, guys, right? And I'm sure you are familiar with them. The two systems, again, are one, the system around what we're calling manifestation or magical thinking, where you use visualization, you use energy, you use different types of, not necessarily the physical, tangible things, but more the mindset and the energetic feeling things to bring about opportunities and dreams that you're trying to achieve, etc. There's that system. Then there is a system of SMART goal setting, which is much more strategic in nature, very, very specific, right? So there, you can actually make their specific items, they're measurable, right? They're achievable or attainable. Like, you can literally write it down, and you have a way that you are setting out each week, each day, each month, and you're checking it off. So you have these two systems. Here, what happened now? Because you have the systems and you're looking at these different gurus and you're reading the books, right? I teach them, so I understand. I teach both systems, so I understand it. But guess what happened now? Because you have these systems, sometimes you develop blind spots because you are reliant on the system to deliver the outcomes that you want. So in the SMART goal setting place now, because you can get so focused on very specific, measurable steps, you sometimes overlook the unconventional things that could be coming your way, right? Because you are expecting it to show up in a particular step. On the flip side of that, you have some persons that may be so deeply involved in the manifestation and the magical thinking side of things that you are waiting on this visualization. You're maybe not taking any actions towards the thing, and you fail to recognize other types of progress or alternative paths that you could take to lead you towards the same success, right? So you're not necessarily taking any action steps at all, or you're even taking actions in other areas and not paying attention to the way that your manifestation is coming and dropping in your lap. No. When you are stuck in these systems, right, and the rigidity of the system, it can lead to missed opportunities. If you have a rigid adherence to goal setting, you may prevent someone from taking risks or from exploring undefined paths, because the undefined path not depend on the plan. And because it's not written on the plan, me not try it, right? And so you have to be flexible in how you are thinking about achieving your goals or even manifesting your dreams, right? So as your circumstances evolve, you have to pay attention, okay? So now what we're going to do is we're going to shift gears a little bit. You understand where your blind spots are. So now that you understand where your blind spots are, now we're going to talk about how we're going to break the mold and give yourself that vision that is gonna build kind of like that laser sharp vision where you can see through walls and all them things like Superman. Right. We're going to talk about the Superman vision that you need to download so that you can see the hidden opportunities to success. And what I'll say to you is that had I not tapped into one of these laser sharp kind of skills, I would have missed my opportunity to go to Toronto and to do this pitch, right? And to become a part of a new community and to look at my business through a new lens that I know is going to unlock amazing possibilities for me and my career and my wealth building and all of the things. All right. So the first thing that you have to do is that you have to challenge the way that you're thinking about the thing. You have to be open to other person's ideas. I'm going to put a pin right there. So, because while you are open to the other person's ideas, it's not everybody's idea that you must open to. You have to be able to tap into the intuitive side of yourself, because especially now that we're in this space where we are constantly on, social media is constantly examining our lives and telling us what we're not doing, what we're doing, etc. You're constantly going to have the opinion of the masses, kind of infringing on you. Those aren't the opinions that I'm talking about. Those aren't the ideas that I'm necessarily talking about, because sometimes you can find yourself listening to those ideas and then you get lost because people have a vision for your life that may not be your vision. But you want to hear that, listen out for that still small voice, the one that I heard when my friend said to me, you don't want to come to Collision and pitch. They're looking for women in tech. And so I think you're a woman in tech, you have this business. And I was like, no, I immediately, it was just a reaction, like a knee jerk. I just started arguing for my limitations. So in that moment, when I said, no, I can't, but I heard a still small voice that said, why not? It was more like curiosity. So one way that you can actually challenge yourself is to get curious, right? You have to be open to the possibilities that your curiosity allows you to explore. Sometimes you're stuck in your goal, your rigid way of doing things, and then something inside of you says, why not? Is that the only way? Be curious, right? So challenge yourself and challenge yourself to be curious. Challenge yourself to listen to the still small voice. Everybody has it. Sometimes you drown it out, but it's there. All right. So that's one. This is really good tea this morning. The next thing you want to do is you want to challenge conventional approaches. So along with that curiosity, right, that you're using to challenge yourself, you want to question and occasionally challenge the systems that you use, right? Ask yourself whether or not the system is serving your highest good or if it needs adjustment. If you find yourself worrying a lot, right, in your system, like you're using, let's say, goal setting and this particular way, if you find yourself worrying about the outcomes, if you find yourself feeling a lot of pressure and a lot of stress, you want to maybe question whether or not the system is working for you in that moment and kind of step back. Right? You want to find ways to incorporate some more flexibility into your personal development system, whichever one it is that you are choosing, because you can never tell whether or not being locked into a particular system is giving you all the advantages, because we live in this very vast world. There are so many different ways to do things, different ways to skin a cat, as they would say. And while systems can be reliable, that's usually how you introduce blind spots, because we're not allowing life to show up for us and allowing ourselves to be open to unanticipated outcomes, right? Because you can't know everything. In Landmark Forum, I did this personal and professional growth seminar years ago. I think I did it I think it was 2018, called Landmark Forum. And one of the first distinctions that they teach you is about blind spots. They talk about, you know what you know, right? So you know what you know what you don't know. You may even have a sense of knowing what you don't know that you don't know. But the truth is, that fear of what you don't know that you don't know is so much bigger than what you do know or what you know that you don't know. I know it's kind of crazy, right? But guys, seriously, blind spots exist in our lives. And what helps us with breaking away from those blind spots and getting this laser sharp Superman through the steel vision that I'm talking about, so you can unlock these hidden opportunities, is first being curious with yourself. And then, second, just being curious and willing to challenge the system that you have in place for whatever you're using to create your goals or to do your your manifestation or any of those things. Now, the next thing that you want to do is you want to look at the opportunities that exist in stepping outside of your comfort zone. And I'm going to tell you that even I am a speaker. I love to chat. I come here, I talk to you guys every Saturday morning at, at 8 Jamaica time if you're in Jamaica, or 9 in the US. I come and I talk to you every Saturday morning. I go on stages. I talk to a lot of people in boardrooms and all the things. And I have a lot of areas where I'm still uncomfortable in expressing myself, right? And sometimes I don't even realize that I'm uncomfortable. Okay. I don't even realize that I have this area that I don't know about until I run into it, until I buck it up. And this is exactly what happened with this situation where my friend was like, hey, why you don't come and pitch? And I immediately started to discard it. And I said to myself after the event, I was like, why am I not pitching for my tech products and services? I was like, why am I not doing that? Like, this is where I spend most of my time. Why am I not trying to raise funds? Why am I not selling my idea and seeing where the possibilities lie? Maybe there are other persons out there who would be interested in supporting me developing this solution. And now is the time to do that. Because you, Stacy, when you're wearing your angel investor hat, or you're wearing your trainer hat, or your support for founders hat, you're the same person that's encouraging these founders to go and to ask some money and to present their ideas. And so why aren't you doing that for your tech business? So that was the first day. I asked myself the question, why am I not doing it? And I found some answers, and all of the answers sounded like excuses. You might see that for yourself. You might see where, when you start to get curious and you start to challenge your systems and the way that you do things, you might see yourself answering. Like, you're going to have a million answers. You can write a journal full of why it won't work, or, you see yourself arguing for your limitations. Some of them may be very valid, concerning reasons, but they're all excuses, right? They're all excuses. And so you have to get really investigated and open with yourself and willing to explore, right? Explore the benefits of what could be sat inside of this unconventional opportunity. So I went through that process over 3 days, and then I wrote back to my friend and I'm like, okay, I want to go to do this thing. What does it take? What do I need to do? And she was like, well, you need to put together a pitch deck and you have to do this and that. And she gave me all the instructions and she said, go ahead and do it. So I went ahead and I followed the instructions and I did it. And then, she was like writing back to me, telling me the things. And at this time, I was now in Barbados because I was working on another one of my it's a technology client, right? And I was actually in the middle of coming up with this solution for them. And I realized that I'm doing all this work and people are buying this work. Why don't I take that to the larger stage? And so it made sense. Things started to click together. And I called my girlfriend and I was like, hey, I think I'm going to pitch for this thing. Can you help me with, how to position my pitch deck and what I should have? And I got that advice. And I just literally started to, give it a little bit of life. I won't say that I was excited about it, but I was curious. I was interested, and the energy around it felt good. And I was, okay, let me explore. Now, I had already told my kids and, my family that I wasn't going to be traveling anymore until, mid-July. So I was going to be spending some time with the kids and just settling into summer a little bit. And so when I got back from Barbados, they could count on me being there and so and so and so. So I enter submission for this pitch. Lo and behold, I get back from Barbados and literally I got selected for the pitch. Out of however many people submitted, I was in the 5 companies that got selected to come to Canada to do this thing. Now, it became exciting and it became uncomfortable at the same time, right? It became exciting and it became uncomfortable at the same time. So here's the next tip, guys. You might find that when you open yourself up to think beyond your systems, that things land in your lap and you have to now make a decision about whether or not you're going to step into this new space, right? You have to decide whether or not you are going to let go of your conventional norms, right? You have to decide whether you are going to allow yourself the experience of that discomfort and be fully committed to the curiosity and the openness that you have now said, I'm going to give a chance. So this is me looking at this email. There's 5 companies listed. My company is listed at the top. So I literally see one dot epic transformation. And I'm like, oh my God, I got chosen. I got selected. I have to be in Canada in less than a week. So you know what I decided to do? I decided to go. I decided to lean into this discomfort. I decided to take that step. I decided to let go of my conventional system because guess what happened? My system, where I have now set particular goals in place, said you are going to be in this location from this date to this date. And after that date, then you can so and so and so. I could have chosen another path like, hey, you know what? Thank you for the acceptance, but I don't think I'm going to travel right now. I promised the kids, I promised my love partner, I promised myself that I was going to be sat. I did, right? And guys, it's not always going to be where you make that choice of stepping into the curiosity. Maybe something would have been on that list of things, that list of step 1, step 2, task 1, task 2, right? There may have been something there that definitely would have prevented me from going, right? But in this instance, instead of looking at those things that I recognized as initial commitments and agreements, I decided to have a further conversation with my daughters and say, hey, I have this opportunity and I'm going to take it. And I know that I promised XYZ and I'm creating a new agreement with you. Let's create some new agreements. And I had to have those conversations. And teenagers can be very brutal, guys. So it's not like it's the easiest conversation to have, but I had the conversations that I needed to have. And then it was rolling with the punches to be in Canada in less than a week, which was a whole adventure all by itself. And that literally can be another tea time. But it was epic, Jay. I see you saying that it was epic. And truth be told, I was in Canada for a week and I learned so much. I stepped into a whole other space of thinking about myself and my business. And now I have a whole other set of dreams. And it's just mind-blowing because this blind spot was sat there for this entire time. But you know what they say? When the student is ready, the teacher appears. And clearly, I was now at a point for this revelation to come to me. Because before that, maybe I would have been too strong in arguing for my limitations. And so what you have to do, guys, is you have to expand your perspective and remain open to possibilities in whatever form they may come. They may come in different forms that you are not expecting. And that openness and curiosity has to be what is at the forefront, because you could be busy umming and manifesting and journaling and visualizing, and people are talking to you, and you're not seeing it, right? You're not hearing the opportunities, right? It could be a situation where you are checking off the things on your goal list of however you're gonna achieve wealth, or maybe how you're gonna find the guy. That's another thing that we do as women, especially. We have to check off all the things on the list before we go after the thing. Guys tend to take more chances than we do. They'll just step out there when they're not ready at all. But we have to make sure that we are 200% ready. We have more than the requirements before we go forward. Where the guys, they'll be like, they have one of the 10 requirements and they're going to move, right? So you have to be careful about the checklist of things that you're marking off, to say that you're ready to step fully towards the potential that you have. Don't get so locked into your system of goal setting or your system of manifesting and magical thinking that you miss the opportunities that life is landing in your lap. You have to look beyond the blueprints that you set up for yourself, right? You have to look beyond the expected paths. You have to look beyond what the gurus teach you, even if I'm the guru that is teaching you. You have to trust the intuitive side of yourself and listen with curiosity and openness, so that when the coincidences happen, you can be curious enough to turn that coincidence into an amazing opportunity. Yes, just see my cousin saying that he just had this same conversation this week, right? And he's created a lot of success, $1 million level success. So he must know, right? And that's what I'm saying, is that we have to remain open. So I know I've been talking for a minute, so I'm just going to make sure that I leave you guys with the tea time formula for today. Every week I do try to make sure that you have a very simple way that you can remind yourself, right? And so this week, we are talking about a formula for openness, and it's simple. All you got to leave here and remember, guys, is be open. I just got to be open, and that will help me to cultivate this laser focus or this laser vision that is going to see through the roadblocks and the blind spots that I have, and possibly give me access to hidden opportunities. So we're going to talk about the open formula. The first letter is O, right? So you have to observe. You have to observe. Pay attention to your environment and the people that are in it, right? Opportunities often come about from everyday interactions. I told you guys, I literally went to see my girlfriend's launch. I went to her launch. I was celebrating her success as a woman in tech, big launch platform. I went to her launch, ended up having a conversation with another girlfriend. This is a regular day. I didn't have this as a task for building my business. No, there was no thing on my list that said build my business and go to this event to help to network to be. No. So you have to pay attention to your environment and the people in it, because opportunities will arise from everyday interactions. So that's O. O, observe. Second one, P, pause. Okay? P is for pause. Give yourself a moment to consider the opportunities, even if it seems out of the ordinary or outside of your current focus or in an uncomfortable zone. All right? You want to pause and give yourself a moment to consider. I did that after the event, where I told her, nah, I'm not going to pitch. I'm not going to do that. That's not what I do. I'm raising my own, I'm working and paying for my thing and da 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 da. I allowed myself a couple of days to think it through. And I literally went back in my WhatsApp messages before I started tea time today to look for the moment where I said to her, hey, I want to do this. Give me the instructions. Oh my gosh, you just joined. I was just talking about you, Alexia. I literally I'm wrapping up now, but I was just telling the story about how I ended up pitching at this tech conference, right? So my friend just joined that was like, hey, you want to do this thing? And I said no. Anyway, so you want to give yourself a moment to consider the opportunities, guys. You want to pause and consider. And so between the day that I saw her, and then 3 days later is essentially when I did that pause. So it's not like you're gonna just immediately, I'm not saying or suggesting that you have to immediately just change your mind and just jump on the thing. No, be with yourself, have your process it, feel it, don't sit in doubt, because you're going to then argue for all your limitations and it's going to pull away from the idea. You do want to pause though and give yourself a moment to consider the opportunities. And while you're considering, just be careful of when you're stepping into doubt about what could go wrong. Look for the benefits. Make a list of the possibilities that could come out of this unconventional opportunity or something that might seem out of the ordinary. So the next letter in being open, our open formula, is E, evaluate. Think critically about the opportunities and how they could possibly align with the dream that you're trying to create, right? Maybe it's in a way that you hadn't initially considered. And so now, as you're going through that evaluation, you find another way that, this could happen or that could happen. So you want to evaluate. And then N, navigate. Once you decide to pursue, right, you're going to now be laser sharp in your navigation and look at how the opportunities start to unfold. So you want to navigate the opportunity as it's presented to you. Again, don't become just this yes person, just saying yes to everything, right? Use the open formula to help you with how you process this new thing, right? So it is first, observe. Second, pause. E, right? Evaluate and then navigate. So our open formula: O, observe, pay attention to your environment and the people that are in your environment. Opportunities arise from everyday interactions. P, pause. Give yourself a moment to consider these opportunities, even when they seem out of the ordinary or outside of your current focus. E, evaluate. Think about the opportunity. Don't just knee-jerk response and jump at it, right? Think about how it could potentially align. Let it sit within your system and look at the different ways, right, that it can actually support what you are moving towards. That's where the evaluation piece comes in. You will have to make sure that you are evaluating the opportunity and looking at how it can align with the goals and the dreams that you have. And then N, navigate. Decide to pursue and then decide how you are going to actually utilize this opportunity. What are the things that you need to get out of it? Make sure that you have clarity around that. All right. So thanks so much for joining today, guys. As we wrap up today's episode, we talked about unlocking hidden opportunities for success. And we just want to remember to stay open to the opportunities and that it requires a shift in our perspective. It requires us to recognize when we're locked in the systems that we have, that we've convinced ourselves will get us to what we want because they might work, right? The two systems that we looked at your system of manifestation or of magical thinking, visualization and vision boards, and using those systems. And we also talked about the system of SMART goals, right? Where you're setting achievable, measurable goals, right? So both systems are systems that you can use, whether it's one or the other. But you have to make sure that you are aware that if you're locked into these systems too much, they can create blind spots that prevent you from actually achieving the desires of your heart. So you want to embrace the open formula, observe, pause, evaluate, and navigate, so that you're ensuring that you're ready to seize every opportunity that comes your way. All right, guys. So thank you so much for joining Tea Time today. I'm really loving being here with you guys on a Saturday morning. I have been traveling a lot, so I'm going to see how I can take a little bit of a break over the next few weeks to just be sat in a place with my family where I'm just chilling. So tune in again, guys, for tea time next week. You're absolutely welcome, Jay. I'm happy to support your thinking and just how you are doing your own personal development work. Thank you for joining and for being a part of the community. So share your comments, guys. I'm going to be sharing this video so you can watch from the beginning if you didn't get to catch the beginning. And share your comments, and don't forget to like. I'm also on YouTube on Stacey Hines. Please visit my YouTube channel and subscribe for more videos like this where I share insights that you can use every day. So stay curious, stay open, and of course, be intentional. Take care, everybody. Thank you for joining. Thank you.